Alright everyone, just a quick reminder before this actual video starts. I own no music in any of my videos, so please do not sue me. Sue me or take down any of my videos or have any claims. Please. I beg of you. I own nothing in any of my videos, including pictures, or music, sounds, or anything you might hear, or any name brands I may mention. The only thing I own is my voice. Understood? Good. So, without further ado, let's get on to this what if. Hold on. Oh, dear lord. Where'd I put those pictures? Alright, everyone. Now you might be wondering, wait, are you for serious? Yes, I'm for serious. This is What If Naruto Was Permanently Changed, Part 2. Now, where we last left off, Naruto was asleep in his bed as he would hear a voice. Well, someone would be watching him. Him, as this person would be a woman, a female, a woman to be exact, and a powerful one. As this woman was this woman. As yes, the ship's gender is Femomoshiki. Anyways, this woman would be pretty much having a genjutsu on while watching him from outside his window, as it looked like she wasn't there. And it was such a high level genjutsu that it even outranked that only she could turn it off, and it even outranked the infinite Tsukiyomi, which is also known as the strongest Kekkei, or the strongest type of genjutsu to exist. As Momoshiki was out and was pretty much looking for something as we go to the Altsasuke world. Billions upon billions of miles away. Hold on, I gotta get my headphones off my head. Momoshiki would pretty much have an interest in Naruto above all other humans when he was still human. As she would hate how he was bullied, and she would wish that she could just go down there and start messing some shit up. And start messing some people up. However, it was not allowed, as her father was the king. Yes, I'm making her the elder sister of Kaguya in this, because if you did not know, and you can search it up yourself. Actually, I can search it up for you. As you see here, Princess Kaguya Otsutsuki, rarely going by her title, is the main antagonist of the Naruto franchise as a whole. So, if you did not see read that correctly, she is indeed a princess, which makes her father the king. Okay, so let's get back to this. As her father was still alive, and by his rule, no one could leave their planet until, well, no one could leave their planet until he said otherwise. The reason he wanted no one to leave their planet was because, well, he knew what happened to Kaguya. He didn't know what happened to his youngest daughter, Kaguya, but she was defeated. And he was afraid for his elder daughter's life. So he created a law that as long as he lived, and as long as he was king, no one could leave their world. However, he was on his deathbed. Had just a couple of weeks before Naruto became, well, like he is, permanently changed. Or a red demon fox. As he would not die of any differently affected causes, but instead he would have died of old age, because the king is over 7 billion years old. The king is over 70 billion years old. Yes, I know. He an old one. While Momoshiki being younger, would be about 1,000,000 years old, while her sister would be 3,000,000. So yeah, they are very young compared to their father. And even still, he was one of the youngest kings to die in his whole family. As it was decided that when he died, Kaguya would take the throne. However, since she went missing and no one's seen her since, and in about 1,000, maybe even 2,000 years, the heir is now Momoshiki. As we go to the night, the night that Naruto is in the Sand Village. To the day that Naruto came to the Sand Village. As the king is on his deathbed, old and dying. As he then says, as Momoshiki, and shakily says, Mo, come here. As he would have given his daughter's nicknames, Momo and Kagu. As he would be calling for Momoshiki, as she would be right next to him, and would go right next, and would get even closer. As he said, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for your sister or you. Please, please, find your sister. and take care of him. Now you might be wondering, wait, why did he say take care of him? Well, you see, for many years, and for a couple of months, the king had watched his daughter. And for a couple of months, about 9, the king watched his daughter as one day she became attached to a certain human. So he would keep watching her and see that she grew more and more attached to this human, but more and more angry that this human was treated so badly. So he would basically, this would be like a sign of him saying, I am dying, you can go to Earth. As she would basically then smile, and as Momoshiki would smile with a tear coming out of her eye, as she would hug her father and say, thank you, father. I will find Kaguya, and I will take care of Naruto. I love you. As well, the king would then, as then the king's eyes would close, all of them. As then he would become lifeless, his chakra completely depleted. As the king himself would turn into chakra and just dissipate away. As Momoshiki would then cry, for a couple of hours, as she wanted to check on Naruto to see if he was okay. As she'd be checking on Naruto and see that due to all the hate that the humans gave him, he is no longer mortal. As Momoshiki would smile, as, now you might be wondering, wait, if her father died, won't she die and he'll just live alive forever? Not exactly, because due to the greatest power of all existence, plot, I will give her I will have her Otsutsuki ability be I will give her 2 Otsutsuki abilities. The one that she did with her hand, and the one that she has in canon, the ability with her hands, and with her palms, the ability to take in chakras and to take in elements and chakra, and then display it out as attacks, and immortality. Because the power of plot armor says so. The power of plot has decreed it. As she would smile and giggle like a girl who just went to, like a horny teenage girl who just went to a Justin Bieber concert. As she would basically rush out of her castle, get nice clothes on, and she would zoom off the planet that very instant. Just boom. Just as she would ask one of her servants she would ask one of her closest friends to take care of the planet until she came back with Kaguya. As her friend would be Ishiki. Now, Ishiki, yes, he's still a boy, but he does know that she doesn't like him. She likes this Naruto guy, as he's perfectly fine with it. And he then says, okay, I'll rule the planet until you get back. And Naruto base. And pretty much Momoshiki blasts off the planet. I mean, she's going like 1,000 times the speed of light right now. All the way to the Earth, which is in the Milky Way galaxy, which is 2 galaxies away. So yeah, it'll take her some time. As when she gets there, she sees Naruto, preparing to go to bed. But he's a red fox. As Naruto basically curls up and lies around and falls asleep on his bed like a dog. As then a slightly bigger orange fox comes out of the shadows. As with his teeth, he grabs a blanket and tucks Naruto in. As the orange fox then says goodnight, good. I'm gonna do it again because I don't care what you people say. As he would say, good night, good night, good night, brother Naruto. As Naruto would say, good night, good night. And the two would pretty much fall asleep. As Momoshiki would just be watching Naruto sleep, and he would eventually wake up in the middle of the night. As she would still be watching him, and, because I'm pretty sure Kurama can stand on his hind legs, Naruto would go on all fours and basically something would happen. As Naruto would discover that he would have a ability that Kurama had, the ability to give himself a human form. As white fur would begin to grow on the tips of Naruto's tails, and he'd basically look like this. As the fur on everywhere else would turn into a kimono that was indestructible. As Naruto would basically, say, so this is one of Brother's abilities. Nice. As he would pretty much be walking down in his divine form, and he'd just, walk over to the bathroom to go to the bathroom, and he'd, after that, go to the kitchen and get something to eat. As in the middle of the night, he would hear something outside. Hold on. As Naruto would walk, and would basically hear sand moving, or he'd hear scratching noises, as he would walk out and see this, just in a trash can, and eating some trash. I'm eating leftover food that people threw away. As Kurama would have awoken and would be standing behind Naruto, as he'd say, oh great, now there's 2 trash pandas. As Gaara would look over at Kurama and say, shut up, you citrus fox. Shut up, you fox made of citrus. As Gaara would have found a bottle of sake, and he would have found a giant bottle of sake, like actually good sake, and he would have drank the whole thing. So yeah, he's pretty much drunk. As this is why he's saying insults that make no sense. As then Kurama would say, "Excuse me? Excuse me? What did you just say?" As Gaara would then say, "You heard me, you living orange." As then a fatter and slightly larger Tanuki, would be behind Gaara, as he would say, Well, now this is quite the predicament. You caught us eating, and you caught us eating dinner. So what? Two Tanuki can't have, two giant Tanuki can't have two giant Tanuki can't have a midnight snack? As then Kurama would say, first off, it's 2 in the morning. Second off, you didn't even tell me that you were planning on this. As he would look at Gaara, and as he'd be staring at Gaara, as then Shikaku would say, oh yeah. You see, I kinda decided that since he's like a brother, and since he's like a brother to Naruto, I wanted to get to know him. Because, Naruto's pretty much going to be like my brother, so, yeah. So, I was talking to him, we talked about a lot of things we had in common, and he opened the seal, and I said, fuck it, why not, right? Because, yeah. So I opened the seal, and boom, Tanuki. As then Haku would then say, also he found a giant bottle of sake and began drinking the whole thing. So yeah, he's drunk. Sorry about these stupid insults, though. Oh, you giant fox with rabbit ears. And you giant rabbit fox. As then Kurama would say, shut it. I am not a rabbit fox. I am a fox. As then Shikaku would say, oh really, then why do you have rabbit ears? And Kurama would say, it's not my fault that my ears are long. And this would end up being a whole thing for the whole night. As in the morning, Naruto and Gaara would pretty much just be, in their animal-esque forms, walking around. As Gaara would be, just walking around, having a time of his life, just having a ball. As Gaara would also be having a ball. As the two are just talking about what they're going to do with their immortality, and then a question pops up for the both of them. Wait, if we're immortal, does that mean that we can't have love? And that we can't and never have love? Unless we date what I guess are our sisters? As yes, some of the tail beasts are sisters, and some of the tail beasts are girls. For instance, Saiken, Chome, and Matatabi, and yeah, I'm pretty sure Saiken, Chome, and Matatabi are the only girls. And I have no idea about Shinju. Shinju's the Ten Tails, but I'm pretty sure Shinju's a boy. As Naruto would then say, anywho, who want to train? As Gaara would say, sure. As, the two would just walk out, out, and they'd get into fighting stances, as then the two brothers would, as then the other two would stop their bickering, because, seriously, they've been bickering since 2 in the morning, to watch the fight. As Kurama would raise his hands, as pretty much Shikaku would raise his hands and make a seat out of sand, as Kurama, his release is yin and yang, so I believe he can create things out of thin air, because, seriously, his release, and you can even check it yourself, it's yin and yang release. As he would have created a chair for himself, as the two would just be watching the whole fight, and would basically just be watching him preparing for the fight. As, Gaara would raise his arms up, as giant arms out of sand would appear. Of course, they're giant Tanuki arms, and they're giant Shikaku arms, but they're not exactly Shikaku's arms, they're more such his arms. It's confusing, okay? As Naruto would begin charging, and would begin creating a Bijudama, as the two would begin fighting. First would be Taijutsu, which, of course, they'd be equal on, but Naruto would be a bit stronger at Taijutsu. And, well, aside from the two brothers watching everything and watching the fight, there would be a third person. This, of course, is Momoshiki, because you want to see how powerful Naruto is with his new upgrades and with his new form. As Naruto's tails then turn into hands and begin fighting against Gaara's giant sand hands. As, well, Naruto then pretty much goes into a ginormous, about 100-foot tall form. Well, no, he'd be 100-foot tall if he was standing in this form. And Gaara goes into a 60-foot tall if he was standing form. As the two then battle, and as the two are basically battling, they're using Bijudamas, or Biju bombs, as then Naruto says, alright, no more playing around, as he then begins glowing a black and red aura, as pretty much it's like KCM, but not, as he goes into his humanoid form, as he goes into this form, and opens his hands, as he then creates a vermilion, and as he then creates a red Rasengan, and basically slams it on Gaara's chest. However, Gaara uses a sand wall to block Naruto, and yeah, from there, the two basically are giving it their all. Now, because I've already done enough fighting scenes for this, and I've already done enough fighting for this, I'm skipping the fighting scene. As we skip about 1 hour later, and the two are done battling, Naruto is standing over a defeated Gaara. As Gara then says, "Damn it! I would have won. I would have won if I was just a bit stronger." As then Shikaku says, I know how you feel. Trust me, Kurama and I can fight and fight and fight, but Kurama will always win. And even if all the other tailed beasts fight against him, he'd win still. As Zangara would say. Hey, whoa. So, that's destructive. As Kaku would say, very. Is Naruto go into this form again? And he'd still be in this form, as he'd just walk away. As then there would be and as then the Raikage would enter the Sand Village. It's to tell them that the war is about to happen. Because they don't want to wait for the war. As he would walk in the village with B and I'm with B and his with B and with B and Yugito. As pretty much the two would, return. As no. Hold on. I just came up with something, and if I was to implicate it without being like this, I would have to have redone the whole video. This is Kanan editing, by the way. Alright, so, erase the part where I said that Momoshiki said that she would come back, that she said she would come back with Kaguya. Instead, she is going to, well, she said she would bring back their new king. Well, that's that. Now, back to past me. Let's go. And, well, Gar, and as A and Gallery Yugito would walk in as they would hear scampering. And like a scampering noise. You know how when a dog walks on a tiled floor and you hear that little scratching noise? That's called scampering noise. And, well, they would see a Tanuki with red hair and Gara's shirt and shoes on. As they would also see a red fox, which is Naruto. Just scampering around, chasing each other. As A then says, "What the? Excuse me? Naruto? Where's Gara?" As the Tanuki then stands up on his hind legs and says, "Oh, sorry." As he then bows in respect and they say, "You did it too?" As Gara then says, "Yep. It was Shukaku's idea." As then a slightly bigger and slightly fatter Tanuki would be behind him, as this is Shikaku, as he'd then say, yeah, kinda was my idea, but hey, Kurama did it first. As Kurama would then say, well, I mean, it isn't really that big of a deal. Now there's just 2 brand new immortals. As then, pretty much, a blue fiery cat, this of course being Matatabi, would appear behind and would appear right in front of them, as Matatabi is in a small kitten form, and she would just appear here on Yukito's shoulder, as she would then say, my god, you two already have enough siblings as it is. Now we have 2 more? Ay. Oh well. As Kurama would then say, it's not my fault that we're able to make one human each a sibling, immortal. As then Yugito would say, yeah, right. Anywho, as Matsubi would say, yeah, right. Anywho, you guys preparing for the war? As Gara and Naruto would say, yes, actually, we've been training for about 2 hours now. As they would say, alright, we are going out to battle, so yeah. As as pretty much everything would. Now let's skip about 2 hours later, everyone would be around the Leaf Village. In front of the Leaf Village, as there would be one line of cloud, and there would be one giant group of cloud ninja, one giant group of, I think, stone ninja, one giant group of mist ninja, and one giant group of sand ninja. And then there would be all these small sub-villages there as well. As everyone just had weapons at the ready and was prepared to obliterate the Leaf. As then, the fox and the Tanuki would walk the red fox and the Tanuki with the red hair would walk in front of everyone, as the 2 would walk in front of everyone, and the fox and Tanuki would say, alright, the attack begins in 3, 2, 1, cliffhanger no jutsu. As that's where I'm ending this part off. Hope y'all enjoyed, and yeah. Hopefully you guys like this video. And want more parts? But yeah, I'm gonna start making part 2s to some of my old what ifs, and of course I'm gonna keep continuing making new ones. Then I'm going to make part 3s to the old ones and part 2s to the new ones, and they're going to be a whole bunch of new series, and I'm going to finish a whole bunch of series. Okay? So yeah. And that's where, well, goodbye.